Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to another edition of the Shooters Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Matt, at PostUp323. Like and subscribe, guys, to the YouTube channel. Also, you can see it live on YouTube and also on the artist formerly known as Twitter, X. With me tonight, an absolute murderer's row of basketball knowledge. There is not a better podcast in the land that has the basketball knowledge that we've got tonight, guys. With me tonight is the returning, as always, Mr. Philosopher. What's happening, bro?
All good, all good. It's good to be here. All-star prep, all-star ready with the greatest ever, a classic from 1996. You know how we do. Let's go.
Rocking the MJ 1996 All-Star jersey for people listening back to the podcast. If you are, thanks very much for listening. Returning tonight, probably I think the second time maybe. I think we filled out a missing persons report. He may have been in a bunker using the trade machine. The returning GM John. What's happening, bro? Good to see you again, man.
What's good, everyone? Thank you very much for having me again. It's been a while, but yeah, I'm here to stay.
Too long.
Absolutely, man. It's good to see you as always, bro. And we have the returning Mr. Jordan. What's happening, bro? Good to see you as well, man.
Yeah, big love. Good to be back. Feels like forever. Feels like absolutely forever. Too long.
Too long.
Not long enough for your ass.
The Fab Four, some would say, back together again. So always a pleasure, gents. Always a pleasure. Got a packed show tonight. A few topics that we can touch on. Lots going on, obviously, in the NBA. We're in full swing. We're getting to the business end. Trade deadlines looming. There's a lot going on. First one, might as well kick straight off. There was a coaching change, a surprise to many, I think. The Milwaukee Bucks making a change, getting rid of Adrian Griffin after only 43 games. That's all Griffin had, 43 games. The Bucks were sitting at 30-13, which I wouldn't say it was a crisis, gents, but he was relieved of his duties and returning to the NBA coaching sideline. A friend of the podcast, Mr. Doc Rivers, is returning. Just when you thought he was out, they pulled him back in. We got Doc Rivers returning. A friend of the podcast, we said, but we have many thoughts on Doc Rivers over the years, guys. Mr. GM, as you're returning, bro, what did you think when you heard the news about the Bucks making a change, man?
That's the first thing that came to mind when I heard the news. Just like an enormous sigh. Again, I understand why people keep giving Doc Rivers opportunities. Well known within the NBA. No, listen, he's well known within the NBA. He's experienced. He's won a championship. Yada, 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 yada. I'm sick of all of them excuses that people use. The guy has won in one place and hasn't won anything properly in the last 15 years. Again, if there's nothing else on the market that's going to compete with him, fair enough. Take him. That's fine. I understand the rationale. But my God, he keeps falling into situation after situation after situation that is way too good for his current standing in the NBA. He lands from title contender to title contender to title contender to title contender. And I'm just looking forward how he fucks this one up. I genuinely am. I'm waiting with bated breath just to see what he does. Like, is he going to start playing Giannis as a point guard or something like that instead? It's just like, no, I'm going to go with a huge lineup. No, you're bad at your job and you have been for a while. You won one championship and you've been like getting free beer in Boston ever since. That's basically it. Like, I hope it goes terribly for him. Like I do with every job he gets. Probably his next job's going to land on the Lakers for knowing me talking shit. But yeah, hopefully, best luck to Giannis and co. But yeah, you got yourself a good one.
What did you think of Griffin only getting 43 games? We seem to be getting less and less chance that teams are getting. So,
I think everyone wanted to find the brand new guy. That was the formula for the last couple of years. You want to find the next Nick Nurse. You want to find the kind of the unearth the coaching gem. but 9 times out of 10, most championships are won by experienced coaches and experienced coaches and experienced rosters. The younger coaches are kind of coming through as from assistants to the big seat. They're not going to get the time because they haven't built up that kind of reputation, or they haven't built up that level of trust within an organization. Maybe they'll eventually get there, but right now they're going to go with the experienced hand. They're going to go with someone that's been to the dance before, and they're going to go with someone that they believe the locker room, the players, the roster, their superstar players can get behind. And it's easy to see why they can get behind Doc Rivers in Milwaukee. Giannis knows him. He's been in the league. Doc Rivers been in the league before as a player, so he understands it from that point of view. He's worked in the front office. He knows from that point of view, and he's been a head coach that won a championship. So across the board, if you're just ticking boxes, he makes all the sense in the world. But he's an asshole. That's his job. And that's really it for me.
Wait.
No, right. Okay, no. George, what you've got some skin in the game with obviously in the same conference as the Boston Celtics. What were your thoughts, bro, when the news broke?
Why? what was my
Exactly.
I didn't think, oh wow, this is amazing, or this is shocking. What are they doing? I literally just thought, why are you doing this? Just doesn't make any sense. It's not really a sideways move. It's not. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a backstep either. It's just in the realm of like, what the fuck, really? That's the only thing I can really say it's down to. In terms of Griffin not getting a chance, I agree with what John's just said there, actually. He's not got, if they're not happy with something, it's not like they can rely or trust him and think, oh, well, he's going to figure his way through this. Come playoff time, we'll be ready, because they don't know that. If they're noticing things, because like you said, Matt, it's not a car crash at the moment.
Definitely not.
It could be a little bit better, but I think you're being a bit harsh if you're saying. And if this was someone like a Monty Williams or a Ty Lue or someone that had come on the market, and you think, oh well, he probably could give us a better chance. Let's take the hit and sort of make some story up and get in someone that's an obvious improvement. But they've not done that, so it's I don't know. Maybe they see something that, quite frankly, no one on planet Earth has seen in appointing Doc Rivers here. Time will tell, but I mean, in terms of what he did for the Celtics, I've long said that he was even a borderline failure there. Should have won more than one, and then he's won nothing ever since. He's like John said, he's gone from group to group of superstar talents. He had a team in the Clippers that everyone was anticipating were going to go on and win the chip that season, or at least give themselves a platform to build off, and that crashed and burned. He went to the Sixers, and we all know what happened with the Ben Simmons thing and how horrendously he managed that whole situation. The one good thing is he doesn't have that in Milwaukee. There's no distractions. Everyone who's in that roster is just they want to hoop. They're not bothered about what's going on off the court. You've not got a Ben Simmons character. You've not got a Kawhi. You've not got the bright lights of LA, even if it is in the dungeons. Before you say anything, Adam, he's not got that pressure. It's a small market team with championship aspirations that have got no sort of BS going on in the locker room. Apart from that, I think that's the only positive. In terms of coaching styles, will he be better than Griffin? I don't know. We might be turning around in a few years' time thinking, what on earth were the Bucks doing if he goes and does well with someone else? But if you're going back to Monty Williams, if you're Monty Williams, you must be thinking, why did I take the Pistons job? Why did I take this job? I around for a little bit, and then the Bucks would have if he would have been free and available, I've got no doubt that he would have been the man that they brought in. So, I mean, realistically, they've basically made the decision to get rid of the coach without having any clear path or clear idea with who they're going to go for. They've probably, like John was alluding to, they've just looked at who's available and thought, he's got the best resume, let's just go for him. That's what it looks like for me, because I don't know what else they've seen in him. I won't take any more time away there from Adam because I know that he's got an explosive rant prepared.
The man has been sitting, waiting patiently as the minutes transpire. Philosopher, do you have a thought that you want to share with the group, or
Would you like me to answer alphabetically or chronologically?
whatever you want, bro? You go, mate.
I echo the sentiments of my learned colleague and fellow fan of the greatest franchise the NBA has ever seen. And I also echo the sentiments of the man that supports our hated enemies. It's so hilarious when the Milwaukee Bucks, as is on very good record of my love for Zeus, yeah, when the Milwaukee Bucks fired Adrian Griffin 13-13, it screamed to me, it screamed media pressure because number one, you hold a winning record in the East, which may not be as weak as in recent years anymore. And you still have a team that's figuring out quite a bit. Though you acquired one massive all-star, top 75 player ever, it shows that age-old cliche of you gotta figure it out. Hell, look at the Clippers. The Clippers just about rolling now, right? And they've had Kawhi and PG there now how many years? But fine. You fired that new head coach that John rightly said a lot of people looking for the next Nick Nurse. Well, guess what? Historically, a Nick Nurse winning in his first year, or even if it was his first 2 years, does not occur in the NBA. People might say, well, Tyronn Lue did. Yeah, Tyronn Lue had a tailor-made team led by a serial attendee of the NBA Finals called LeBron James. All due respect to Tyronn Lue, who has turned out to actually be a very capable coach. And since then, has he even made the conference finals? We're still waiting. Inexperienced coaches don't hit the jackpot, or they hit it very rarely, or it has to be an anomaly, like said same Nick Nurse, to which we all know had the Golden State Warriors been 70.
Can't hear you, bro. We lost you, mate. Is you there, man?
He's ranting so hard he broke the mic.
He was mid rant. He was mid rant. Am
I there?
Yeah.
We got you back, bro. Sorry. Go on, man.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and I haven't even started to rant yet. I'm trying. Not for the first item on the docket. How in the blazes you are going to hire the biggest failure for a so-called top coach and expect to win the chip? I don't give a blue hell if he won in Boston. He had the best ready-made roster to win when he went to Boston. I don't care what no one says. And he even shit the bed there because a KG, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen can only get you one title out of 2 trips to the NBA Finals, in between being washed off by a young LeBron James and a young Dwight Howard. We don't forget you, Doc Rivers. You had T-Mac and Grant Hill. You had CP and Blake and them boys. You had MVP Joel Embiid and that quitter Ben Simmons and then James Harden. We don't believe you, Doc. And the Milwaukee Bucks will fire an inexperienced coach who, by the way, was hired by said same Milwaukee Bucks under Scott Skiles. A lot of people forget that. Who, by the way, was an assistant to the same Nick Nurse on that championship roster in Toronto. You will fire that guy who has a winning record in his first ever head coaching stint. His first. Managing 2 top 75 players, both who have massive egos, both who have predominantly led their franchises. One who has already won, and they're still figuring it out. And you can fire that guy to hire a serial failure. I don't care what nobody says. I said it when Philadelphia hired him, and I'm gonna say it again. As much as I love Zeus, the Milwaukee Bucks will win nothing with Doc Rivers. Nothing with Doc Rivers. I'm saying it here now. I said it with the Sixers. I'm saying it again. He is a serial failure. And that's not good enough. Should have never fired Adrian Griffin. Should have wait and look at Joe Mazzulla with the Sixers, with the Celtics. Yeah, he took over a team in an unfortunate circumstance. But look at what he's doing with the Celtics. And you can fire that. Phil Jackson took over from Doug Collins, and it still took him 3 seasons before he even get to the finals. The great Phil Jackson. Pop took over from, I can't even remember what he named. Pop came downstairs. I think he was a exec before. You know what I mean? Like, come on, come to hire Doc. I done, man. I don't know. I done. Zeus can't get my support now with Doc. Cannot. And I love Zeus. Y'all know I love Zeus. And I like Dame Time.
Oh, you're disowning Zeus? Is that what you're telling me?
Never. No. Me and John have a contract written up for him to come to LA in the summer.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Come to LA. Come when it's sunny. 28, 29 years old now, fella. Just come on. Just come on. All the great bigs make the move to the sun. And they produce titles. You know, leave Doc and his foolishness. I feel for Dame. Lillard. You know what I mean? This is awful. It's awful.
Well, guys, philosopher's on the fence. So, what do you think the ceiling is for the Bucks? You get somebody like Dame in, and obviously the margin's so fine. It's it's title or bust, isn't it? Is there any chance that Doc can take them to the promised land? I can't believe the slander, man. Doc Rivers is one of the best coaches of all time. Top 10
25 coaches of all time.
We've done this already. This is a joke that keeps going every day. But,
John, can you get them, please? John, can you get them, please? John, can you get them? You get them, please, John. Please.
You were lucky. You didn't end up being your guys' coach, mate. I'll tell you that. It was close. There was rumors at one time, man.
I was scared out of my motherfucking mind he was going to be our coach.
Apparently, that's why GM John went into hiding. That was the rumor that I heard, anyway.
I was concerned at one point, though. I ain't gonna lie. I was concerned. Having it wasn't lunch. I think him and Jeannie was having conversation at some event on the chat at the Chinese Master. I was like, no, do not do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. I mean, the rumor is that obviously the Bucks had massive defensive struggles this year, guys. They were conceding a lot of points per game.
Are you hired, Doc?
Oh, I know. Yeah, apparently is Doc gonna somehow find the key to
ask Jordan. Ask Jordan about defense and Doc.
Well, he wasn't the genius of the Boston Celtics defense, was it? It was Tibbs, wasn't it? When they won the title.
Who was it? Sorry, who was it?
Tibbs.
Who, I didn't hear Doc.
Definitely not, bro. Definitely not.
Was it the same Tibbs that then left and went to Chicago? And the only thing that stopped that MVP Derrick Rose was he saying LeBron James? That Tibbs that made Joakim Noah defensive player of the year. That Tibbs. And your fragility in Milwaukee is defense, and you hire Doc. Come on, man.
Did
Come
we
on,
ever
man.
get down to, because Terry Stotts was the assistant, wasn't he? And then he left before the start of the season. Did we ever get down to what actually happened with that? Because I haven't heard or read anything to say what happened. He just left before, like a week before the season.
In Milwaukee.
Yeah, something happened, and I don't
They
think
said-
Dame.
they
Apparently,
said
Dame
it's
wasn't
no
very
reason.
impressed with that.
I don't know.
Sorry.
They said John probably might got a better insider than me. I think I saw some very personal reasons or something like that. But then there's no development. I subject to correction though.
I mean,
Was he not
obviously
getting
Zeus was
motherfucked?
okay with this change and changing coach, guys. They must have,
Mm.
ran it by him surely.
Was
His
he not
crowd
getting
didn't.
motherfucked by Griffin?
Yeah, something went on. Something went on with Griffin and Stotts, I think. But it's
Like
never really materialized what's gone on.
Yeah, he was ripping him a new asshole, basically talking down to him as like as if he's like a rookie assistant coach, and he was just like, "I'm vastly more experienced than you. Don't keep him with like."
I've actually
went full Wilson.
I've actually coached an NBA
Yeah.
game and you haven't yet. Like, yeah, do you know what I mean?
Don't do that.
Yeah, and he was
Don't
just like,
do
"Nah, I don't need this kind of stuff."
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what if you had to say now, how far the Bucks get then in this to the end of the
Second
season?
round, where that's Doc's sweet spot. The second round, he loves the second round. Never gets to dessert. He just gets to the second round. He always he's a main course guy. Never gets to the dessert.
He blows his wad on the mains. Hasn't got enough room for dessert, and yeah, that's it.
As much as I hate the Leprechauns, how hilarious would it be if Jordan had the pleasure of knocking out the Bucks?
It has been known.
Oh my
It has been
God!
known. What do you think, George?
In the Garden as well, they would love that. They would love that. Oh my days!
I think the Bucks, they're even despite all this, they are still going to go all the way to Cancun. I was tempted to say the second round just because that is predominantly where things have gone wrong. And as much as I'm trying to make an argument that they could somehow fumble their way into the finals, I can't do that because that means that I'm saying that my Celtics aren't going to beat Doc Rivers. So I'm going to have to agree with the masses and say I think they say it'll be a pretty comfortable first round. They'll have a bit of a scare, I think, with whoever they play. And then everyone will be like, "Oh, here we go again." And then a bit like last season with the Sixers when they nearly blew that 3-game lead against the Raptors. And then they'll get beat in the second round. Possibly by, how funny would it be if it's the 76ers that knock them out in the second?
Oh, man.
That would be worse. That would be even worse. That would be actually
the Knicks.
Actually be the worst.
Be the Knicks.
Yeah, well, yeah, could be the
It
Knicks.
all depends.
Yeah.
I think if they play the Knicks, I think they will beat the Knicks.
You'll beat the Knicks.
But no, I think we'll beat the Knicks. But I think the Bucks could even still beat the Knicks.
Yeah. They should.
They should.
They
Yeah.
should.
Go on, dude.
When you look at the East, the only people the Bucks should be having problems with is the Celtics and the Sixers. I don't like. Let's be real. Let's be objective now. Like the only problems the Bucks should have is with the Celtics and the Sixers. The Knicks, the Cavs, the Pacers. But postseason basketball has taught us time and time again is win or go home. So any of them teams could prove a banana peel. And if you're the Bucks and have to play one of them teams coming off of the play-in, first, and any of them teams is the currently well-coached Pacers, the perennial postseason performers, the Heat, the same Knicks who we don't know who can turn up. you know what I mean? Like, I mean, even the Cavs. I find the Cavs could be underdogs. And I'm not gonna count the Magic. I'm not gonna remind everybody that a couple seasons ago I told people the Magic are coming. I don't gonna remind people. I'm not, you know. But
you just love your boy Paolo, bro.
But piggy bank.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My God.
Some of the Bucks fans were even calling for Coach Bud to be rehired when they got rid of Griffin. I mean, we've lost our heads now, haven't we? Like, I mean, what you know? There's no going back, mate.
Is that what we're doing?
Mate, I was like, there's only one man who can help me now.
They should call it Shooters Lounge. The Shooters Lounge. The four of us, a conglomerate. We go coach the Bucks. Let's go. We go coach the Bucks. Since that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Okay, no problem.
Yeah,
no problem.
I mean, you know, newsflash: when you replace Holiday with Dame, you're not going to be as good on defense, are you? Newsflash: is that one of the problems, the main problem, or you know?
I think it's one of the problems. I just don't think it's as major as everybody touted it out to be. However, what I do think the major problem is they're having the same issue the 2011 Heat had. So you remember when LeBron and Bosh first went to join up Wade. So we're trying to figure out who leads and who leads when and what. So even though they're both getting the numbers, they've been winning games. We haven't yet seen them do it as a tandem, which is what I think is most dangerous about the Bucks, which is why it's so sad that Adrian Griffin was fired, because they have a winning record in the East, and we haven't yet seen their big two really gel. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yes, there's some defensive frailties. Connaughton and those boys has had to step up. Bobby Portis has actually had to guard a lot more perimeter basketball, for argument's sake. So has Giannis. And then
as well, haven't they?
That's right. So and Middleton has been in and out with injury and so on and so forth. So they're still working out things, and you're going to fire he for a perennial loser.
We'll just end it on this then, guys. Do you think Griffin will get another shot somewhere? Do you think he'll get another go somewhere else?
As an assistant, yeah. As an assistant,
yeah.
But no one's gonna give him the head coach
Not right
job.
now.
Right away, no.
No. Do you think he'll have to go be an assistant again to maybe, go back, maybe further down the line, be an head coach again, possibly?
The worst thing is that he's done nothing wrong.
I think it's going to there with the expectations. Wrong. It's tough. So
basically, after half a season of him doing nothing wrong, it's probably set his career back a year or two to go back into the cycle of becoming a head coach again. He's done, technically, he's done nothing wrong. He's won 30 games this season and lost 13. That's a pretty good record.
You take it right now in LA.
100%. 100%.
What's wrong with Darwin, man?
Meanwhile, Monty is suffering in Detroit. Suffering. Jordan brought this up earlier. Who remembers me saying, I know Matt, you will. When y'all let go Monty, I was like, I want Monty in Milwaukee. I said it time and time again. When he took that Detroit job, I was like, why?
I could think of 14 million reasons why.
You're telling me?
He's getting that every year, mate. Oh, dude.
I take one of that 14.
Yeah, I hope Griffin gets another shot, man. I feel for him. Like you say, he's done nothing wrong, like GM John says, and but like you say, he might have to go back being assistant to maybe get another shot further down the line. Maybe a younger team, a bit more of a project rebuild, maybe. But when you go to Milwaukee and you've got Damon and Giannis on the team, the expectations are, it's a title or bust, isn't it? It's everything else is a failure, really.
You're 13-13.
Like you say, the record's there, isn't it? But apparently, Giannis wasn't a fan of the defensive schemes. But you're 13-13. Calm down. It's a marathon. Stay the course.
Although we have seen weird ones. Now, Golden State fired Mark Jackson, and yes. I will never, to my dying day, forget that. Golden State fired when those Splash Brothers made noise. They made noise under Mark Jackson with Monte Ellis,
They went.
and
They went.
then
They went 7 games, didn't they, with the Clippers
yes,
before he
did
got fired, didn't they, Jackson? Yeah.
with,
So.
with whose Clippers?
It's just going full circle, bro, isn't it? It's just, yeah, you know, it's
go.
there, isn't it? What a tangled web.
Steph and Clay had not CP, had Jamal Crawford and Sweet Lou Williams. Could not guard them. Not guard them. Doc Rivers, and you hired that guy for defense.
Well, only time will tell, guys. I think Doc's coaching his first game tonight, isn't he? So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens.
All right.
Be interesting for sure. But anyway, enough about the Bucks. We'll move on, guys. So last week, All-Star Game starters were announced. Like we said on the last show, gone back to the old format: East versus West. None of this. None of this. You pick, I pick. We're going back to the old school. The East starters were announced. So there was Dame, Halliburton, Embiid, Tatum, and Giannis. And then for the West, it was SGA, Luka, KD, LeBron James, and Jokic. So the question is, guys, were you surprised by anybody making the starters? And also, you know, who you think is going to make the reserves, because the reserves are going to be announced this Thursday evening. GM John, do you want to kick us off, bro?
Yeah. I'll start with East. Pretty spot on for the most part. The starters can't. Halliburton, yeah. Tatum, yeah. And Antetokounmpo, yeah. Embiid, yep. Lillard deserves to be there, obviously. In terms of being at the All-Star game, I don't know if he's done enough to be a starter. Maybe for me, I've really liked Jalen Brunson this year. Really liked him. I thought he'd be worthy of inclusion, potentially being a starter. Even like Donovan Mitchell, quite a bit. But yeah, I'm splitting hairs by saying Dame shouldn't start, but that again, he's a legacy guy. The same with LeBron. LeBron probably doesn't deserve to start in the All-Star game in terms of his numbers this season. I easily think AD could have been in his place very easily in terms of what he's done this season. But yeah, everyone here is deserving of their role in whether it be just being in an All-Star game. But yeah, if I was splitting hairs, I'd say LeBron should be reserve and Dame should be reserve. But again, I have no quarrels or queries with them two guys being involved at all. They're legacy guys. They're been faces of the league, continue to be faces of the league, and are all-star and MVP caliber talents. So yeah, for me, they deserve to be there.
20 straight All-Stars for LeBron, isn't it? 20 straight, man. I mean,
since his sophomore year.
Man, you know, that's something. I think it's the most All-Star selections ever, isn't it? I believe.
He just beat Kobe and someone else had 19.
Kareem.
I think Tim did. No, not Timmy.
Kareem.
He had 18. Kareem.
Yeah. So,
Kobe. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain players who are going to get in through their popularity, aren't they? Maybe not so much. There might be other players who are playing better than them, but the popularity kind of shines through because it's like 50% fan vote, isn't it? And then 25% media, and then 25% coaches vote. So, you know, if you're number one on the fan vote, then you know you're going to have a decent shot, aren't you? Like you say, bro. For LeBron, but I mean, LeBron, how many years he's been in the league? He's still putting the numbers up like he was 10 years ago. I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it? But you kind of have to give it as a given, don't you? That LeBron's going to get in regardless, really, with what you vote for. To be honest, bro,
he genuinely might be able to beat Father Time. Like he genuinely might be able to be like.
If somebody can, bro, he's there's
a possibility that he could retire. There's a possibility that he could retire and still be an MVP candidate. That's a very real possibility in the next 2 years he could be an MVP candidate again. Time's catching up with him, but it's like a top 5 MVP guy. Very easy.
No, 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 no. This is not even hate talking. No,
You'll never say anything nice about LeBron philosophy. Come
no.
on, bro.
I'd say a whole lot nice about LeBron. A whole heap. Surprise myself sometimes. No, LeBron is LeBron. But when we talk about top 5 MVP candidates, he's not even that now. He's not even the leading MVP candidate on his own team right now. I don't care. All the LeBron sexuals can come for me for that.
I don't think he wants to be.
That he didn't want to be 3 years ago.
He doesn't want to
Let's
be.
be honest. After the bubble chip, LeBron was ready for AD to take the reins. Yeah. You look at the Lakers now. AD is that guy. AD is definitely that guy. Which is ideal in anyway. If you know what I mean. But
the amount of grief that AD's had over the last few years, man, you've got to give him props because this year he's been very, very good, hasn't he?
I'm not blighting it. I'm saying nothing until the season's end because he said he was going to play a certain number of games and so on and so forth. Not saying nothing. We only halfway. You know what I mean? So, but God give him props for so far. With regard to All-Star, I'm going to disagree slightly with John and say there's no All-Star starting team that LeBron doesn't deserve to start. Now, in the history of basketball, like star power, it's the All-Star weekend. And star power leads the All-Star weekend. So I don't ever have any qualms. So even when Perk was on talking about Jalen Brunson should be there instead of Damian Lillard, sit down, Perk. Damian Lillard's a top 75 player ever. Brother, just sit down. Behave yourself, Perk. You played in the league. Come on, man. Behave yourself. We can make an argument for even before Jalen Brunson, like John said, Spider Mitchell. I think Tyrese is starting though, isn't it? Tyrese is starting. Yeah. So Spider to the guards, Spider or can't even remember who else. The guard Tanner's from the East. That's really, really doing well.
Trey Young or Maxey or
but no, before Damian Lillard, no, not before Damian Lillard.
It depends how you rate it. Are you rating it just on this season alone, or are you rating it on?
But that's the thing.
Yeah. Well, for me it is, but like other people don't. They vote on who's the most popular. So LeBron, Curry. Obviously they're amazing players, aren't they? But this season is what I judge it on personally. But,
you'd be surprised that there are more people that think like us when they're voting than popularity only. And even then, when you say, man, AD right now, AD better than LeBron, you something in your brain also says, but it's LeBron.
It's LeBron. Yeah, like GM said, it's LeBron. So you're not going to be angry at it, are you?
The averaging 10 and 5. You know what I'm saying? It's still LeBron. When Jordan came back to the league, for the Wizards, Jordan started 1 year, and then another year he made the bench, and T-Mac gave him his starting place, out of respect. You know what I mean? So Kobe, same thing in his latter years, but you could never look at, and the reason why we bring Mike and Kobe is because you can never look at those, and not for argument's sake, because the other side of that argument is Kareem, for argument's sake, in his latter years. A lot of people used to think he was a sympathy pick. Magic in 1992 had just retired. Which he
never even played it. He never even played a game that year, and he got in, did he? So
yeah, and won the All-Star MVP. Yeah, the All-Star game is about star power. People, yes, we don't ignore the ability of these players and what they're doing in the year, but I have no problems with either starting lineup simply because it's about star power, and you can't knock the numbers. One, and you can't knock their star power too. Now, with regard to who else makes it now, it's really interesting. But John didn't address that, so I'm gonna let everybody go on first, and then we'll come back.
George, you've been sitting there patiently, my friend. Do you have thoughts?
Well, I mean, I was just taking in, seeing sort of everyone's perspective with how it. We've had this discussion before when we've said how things should be and how they're actually done. We've talked about this with loads of things in the past. We voted on MVP, how that should work, but then how it actually works. All-star voting is the same for me. Like, there's a way that I think it should be done. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way of doing it, but in my opinion, I agree that it should be just based on this season. It should have no impact on the longevity or narratives, but inevitably that's going to be the case. Do I think that LeBron James should be starting this game? No, I do not. He should be there, but he should not be starting this game. The same I would also say for Lillard. I know John sort of was on the fence and didn't want to call it, but I don't think he should be starting either. Flat out. I think that both should be there, both deserve to be there. But in terms of starting, I don't really agree. One guy that I've got the rankings up, so the player rank and the fan rank. It's interesting to sort of compare the two sometimes. We see it with someone like Ja Morant, who's on the fringes because he's getting loads of fan votes, but none of the players are really going to be picking him. No. And he's like in the conversation just because of the fan vote. But then you look at someone like Tyrese Maxey. Now, if AB was here, he'd be falling off his chair because I'm going to be giving some love to our uglier little cousins, the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I cannot believe that he is not higher in the power rankings at the minute than he is. I think there's an argument that Tyrese Maxey should even start this game. Not saying he should, but he should be in the conversation for me. He's way down the list. In front of him, you've got Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell. I don't think they've had a better season than Tyrese Maxey this year.
They're both franchise players, though.
They are franchise players, but this is what I'm saying.
Leading their teams.
It's how you interpret it in your opinion. So everyone's going to have different parameters that it has to be filled. But just for
you're going stats based.
If we're not raw stats, but just in terms of how they've performed individually this season,
there's no way. There's no way. And I love it. Come on, man. Maxey got.
I'm surprised he's that far. I'm surprised he's lower down than he maybe. I think he should be.
I'm waiting for you to pour some news that shouldn't be in front of him.
I don't think Trae Young should be in front of him.
I take that. I take that.
Trae Young's averaging 27 and 10, mate.
Yeah, but long conversations about Trae Young in the past.
No, it's there, isn't it? If you're going stats based, he's averaging 27 and 10 assists a game. But
yeah, but that's what I was saying. That's why I wouldn't say raw stats.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Quite interestingly, I thought Brunson and Lillard, it was a tie break.
It was very close, wasn't it? Apparently,
it was very, very close. The fan votes split it by, I think, was it a couple 100,000 votes?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a million miles away. I mean, that's a toss of a coin, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the result of that probably is about fair. Like, it is a flip coin.
Are we serious? We are not debating a toss of a coin between Jalen Brunson and Damian Lillard. No, Jordan, my guy. I'm not having it. No.
Why?
Okay, he's having an awesome year. He's having an awesome year. He's leading the New York Knicks. Fantastic. But let's apply what Dame is actually having to do. Dame has to play next to another top 75 player who also has to manage his stats next to said same top 75 player whose stats also don't look bad.
Yeah.
Brunson don't got to do that.
If you apply the logic that you've just applied with Mitchell and Young, though, they're the franchise guys. Brunson is the guy in New York, isn't he?
He is. So I I might be agreeing with Jordan that it's debatable then, but
it's there, bro. It's there.
Simply because it's Damian Lillard. Why this is not a debate.
It's Dame time, isn't it? I mean, he loves the All-Star games, doesn't he? Yeah. Well, I totally get it. But if you're judging it on this year, mate, Brunson has been amazing for New York, man. Brunson's been amazing.
All-Star game. If you're at the All-Star game and it comes down to a last shot, the ball is not going to Jalen Brunson.
I'm running a Brunson ISO, mate. Clear out, boys. I've got this. You know, I like to say it's a 50-50, man. I think. But like Dame's bringing the star power into, obviously. Dame's bringing the star power.
100%. All-Star game.
What do you guys think of Curry not making the starters? Are you okay with that?
The thing is, if we're using my logic, I'm not okay with it. But I'd shoot myself in the foot simply to say, using Jordan's logic for argument's sake, even more so than John's. How can you deny what they done and Shea and Shea doing? Like, no one saw this from SGA. No one saw this coming from SGA. And SGA is literally top 3 for MVP. I don't care what nobody said. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is the first to guard since Kobe and Dwayne Wade. Yes, I'm not counting James Harden. Of course, I'm not counting James Harden.
You'll never give Harden his flowers ever.
You know what I mean? But on a real two-guard, like genuine two-guard, that leading his team in the West. Let's think about that for a second. So I can't argue against that, and I can't argue against Luka. Like, if there's anybody I would move, would have been Luka. Even though I like Luka, but you know what I mean. But for Steph. But Steph, your team is 11th, dog. Your team is 11th.
Again, it's what logic you're applying. Like, is it winning teams or
Everything.
Is it individual?
Everything.
Or like you say, I mean, that's why as a fan you get to vote. You get to vote who you want in based on what your logic is, isn't it? So,
but I'm counting everything. So I counted what I stated. I counted what Jordan said. I counted everything. Sure. Yes, Steph, you got the star quality, the all-star pull. Everybody come to see you shoot from Japan. Fine. But your team in 12th. So you gonna make this bench because your stats still look good. The coaches gonna pick you. You gonna make this bench. You gonna come on. You gonna do your thing.
On that logic, the Lakers are lucky to have 2. Well, I think if they get 2 all-stars.
Some people might say that Lakers should have had 2 starters.
No, I don't. But somebody might do somewhere.
You wouldn't, because that moves your guy.
yeah, man. KD getting in, man. George, have you still got them fan votes? Have you still got them rankings up?
Yeah, man, I've still got them.
Was Morant had more votes than Booker, didn't he? Is that right?
No, Booker had more than Ja Morant.
Oh, did he? Sorry. I think when they first had the first round of votes, I think Morant had more, and he hadn't played a game yet.
No, Booker's higher. I mean,
again, remember Magic in '92.
Ja Morant's not getting these votes for a nice reason, is he? Let's be honest. He's getting this all tryhards thinking, let's get this guy who waves a gun around because he's really cool. Let's get him in there.
The game is in Vegas, right?
No, it's in Indiana, isn't it?
It's in Indiana.
Indiana, because Halliburton's like the shining guy for them, is obviously getting a starter and stuff.
That's why you got to start. Got to start him.
Yeah. Do you know why they've still appointed team captains? Because I don't have any understanding as to why they've done that.
Neither do I. If they're not picking,
why they've got LeBron and Giannis as team captains, and I've no idea why. It's like, what's this for?
It's just the most vote thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but what's being a captain does for you now, because you're not picking teams or anything. The teams are set, aren't they? So I don't really understand why that
it
is.
might just be an honor, just not a physical role. It might just be a title of you, the team captain, because you've got American roots.
Like you were team captain, you were all-star captain. How many times you were all-star captain and stuff like that?
Are we going to start counting that with the Hall of Fame candidacies then, are we? Well, he was a team captain and the all-star. I don't know. No, man. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me, man. But,
I'm struggling to pick that West bench though. Struggling.
I mean, we've said it, haven't we, guys, before? There's going to be some very good players who don't make it. It's just that the league's that deep now. The league is that good, isn't it? I mean, back in the 90s, philosophy, when they used to have a job fill the rosters.
Yeah. Now you're gonna call the philosopher out now.
That's not like calling you out by name, like, but I was just saying, back in the day, mate, they'd have a job fill the roster. Now, they weren't. There was some questionable all stars in the 90s and stuff.
Like who?
I don't know, like Chris Gantling, or somebody random like that. Tom Gugliotta or
fucking Williams.
Yeah.
You mean Gugliotta that was 20 and 15 that year? Or 20 and 12? So
come on, bro. There's no way he should be an all-star, man.
He was though.
Oh, he was, but I mean, I don't know.
The thing about it is the same thing you said, Matt. I actually was discussing this today. It's easier now. I don't care who gets angry with me. It's way easier now to fill the stat sheet than it was before. It's way easier now. The reason why players are more talented, I will go on record saying that the league from top to bottom has way more talented players, ability-wise, way more athletic players than it did before. The league's also miles softer. So it's easier to get a 30-piece now than it was, not even in the 90s, in the mid-2000s, man. It was easier to...
You only have maybe one or two people averaging 30 in a game back in the day. I mean, how many are averaging 30 this year?
You exactly. And if that person averaging 30, they're having a blow year. You're talking about the T-Max, the Kobe's, the AIs, you know what I mean? Like the great players of those eras, like even the Shaqs and the Tim Duncans and what's not, Richard the Bakes, were averaging 30. Joel Embiid averaging 30 plus. Zeus averaging 30 plus. AD can easily average 30. You know what I mean? Like it's easier to build stats now. So when we say that the league is it's more difficult from the perspective of stats, I am all with you, baby. I am all with you. But in terms of, I'll go as far as to say quality. Like in terms of like when you look top to bottom of the league, I think, he's a problem. Yeah, he's a problem. Yeah, he's a problem. Man, when you look at all-star rosters back then, you used to, men in the East playing two guard, for argument's sake, used to know, all right, we all fighting for one position here because everybody know Mike getting the first one.
Yeah, sure.
In the 80s, like the men in the East used to be like, the men that playing small forward, ask Dominique Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins were like, hey, I played in a conference with Bird and Dr. J, who both play small forward. How are you gonna make this all-star game? You know what I mean? Like, and that's just two positions I call. I ain't even calling center because they're picking two centers each post. And in the East, you got Patrick Ewing, Alonzo. You know what I mean? The West, you got the Dream. You got David Robinson. You got and the rest of the centers thinking, so I ain't gonna never make an all-star game. Whereas now, you know what I mean? Men put up stats, bum, and then like we don't really pick centers, we'll pick forwards. So like
it's front court and back court now, isn't it? So yeah,
so like
Yeah, yeah.
This is what I find it difficult. That's why I'm finding it difficult to pick because, like, I can see easily 3 or 4 two guards. Devin Booker, Ant-Man, that should be on that could easily be starters for argument's sake. That should make the bench as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? And like people might tell me, no, you need to pick more forwards or whatever the case may be. I'm like, why?
Well, I think these reserves, you've got to have 2 guards, 3 front court players, and then 2 of any position as to make you 7
to make the bench
players. Yeah. So, you know, that might pose or you might make it easier for you, bro, when you're picking the reserves. Has anybody got 7 people written down, guys, or does anybody want to have a stab at it? Or, I can give you my list if you want, or
do the East.
Yeah, it's
I have the West.
That's all right, mate. You volunteered first, mate. I'll let you get on with it.
All right. Well, with the East, I've got Mitchell, Brunson, Bam, Jaylen Brown, Paolo, Trae Young, and Maxey.
Who was before Trae Young? You said
Paolo Banchero.
Paolo. Okay.
I think Paolo's been great. I'd really enjoyed watching him play.
Thank you very much.
I watched him dousers last night.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I like it. I've always been a fan, to be fair. The West, I've got Curry, Ant-Man, Paul George, Kawhi, AD, Booker, and De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I've got Brown, Banchero, Bam. Not gone for Trae Young. Tyrese, Donovan Mitchell, Brunson. I want to say Derek White. I can't. I thought you were going to do it, then, man. I thought you were going to do it. Damn it. I can't go for Derek White. However, I am going to go for Kristaps Porzingis, and I don't care.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, stop it.
Bitch.
No, stop it. Yes, stop it.
What a bitch.
I see what you did there, bro.
Matt, what did you say, mate? This voting, it's about your opinions and what matters to you as a fan.
Your opinion means shit.
Go on, John.
I'll
tell you that until you're wrong, but yeah. Hey, mate, that's it. That's your opinion, bro. That's fine. You know.
I've got my Western Conference reserves, but I haven't got my Eastern. But I'm looking at a list of Eastern as well. For me, Steph, Edwards, PG, Booker, Davis. I don't want to give it to Kawhi, but I will. And I'm gonna go Victor Wembanyama. I think they want you. If you want to have some fun in the All-Star game, if you want to create a new superstar for the league, like they did with Kobe back in the day. Obviously, Kobe was a young and up-and-coming player, was still kind of cutting his teeth, but they knew what was coming up. Yep. So give a young guy a chance, let him see what he can do on a world stage, and create an even bigger superstar.
Let him do the sham god on somebody. He's doing the other night. Ridiculous. What the hell is that?
Who did he do it to?
Does it go there?
Rudy go nothing.
Mate, a lot of people have got Rudy in their reserves list, mate. A lot of people have.
He was close. He was close for me. I'm not gonna lie. He was outside.
I don't know why. Yeah. I noticed none of you for Tyrese Maxey.
I have the Eastern. So for me, it's Brunson, Mitchell, Adebayo, Banchero, Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, and I was going back and forth between Young and Scotty Barnes, but I'm going to go with Scotty Barnes. Yeah, for me,
Scotty Barnes. So in the East, my 7: Barnes, Banchero, Spider Mitchell, Maxey. Sorry, Jordan, I haven't chosen Jaylen Brown. Psst. He could skydive.
Wow.
Yeah, he could skydive. Bam. How much did I call? 6? That's 6.
Yeah, I think you got one more, bro. I think.
Oh, mate, you've got room for Derek White.
I missed. Oh my god!
I'd rather stay with 6.
And in the West, I've gone AD, the two Clippers boys, De'Aaron Fox, Steph, that's 5. What am I missing? Devin Booker, of course, and Anthony Edwards and Ant-Man. Yeah. So you see my guard problem, because here all them guards. You know them guards?
Oh man, that's a problem. That's a problem, as you like to say, bro. That's definitely.
But I like that. I like that.
Yeah, man. Some tasty matchups in there, man. Some tasty fives going in there, man.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be overly shocked if Sabonis somehow gets in,
Yeah, that was somebody I was
thinking
of.
Mainly because, like, it's the Indiana's where he sort of broke out, isn't it, as well? It's like that narrative's there to be used if it becomes relevant.
True.
I'm surprised to see him sneak in. I mean, one that's interesting, Matt, just going back to the voting, the voting things that I've got, the fan rank, the 5th overall for the front court, ahead of Kawhi, ahead of Paul George, ahead of Victor, ahead of Sabonis and Kat, was Alperen Şengün, interestingly.
Yeah.
Yes. That surprised me. That didn't surprise me at all. Every time I see his name, I was like, Jordan.
That's Jordan's guy, that is. That's Jordan's guy.
This young guy from Leeds called Şengün about 2 years ago. I was like, okay.
The thing about Şengün, right, is that I've like a couple of times this season I've seen him, and you are noticing. How we usually notice that centers would take a few years to adjust, and that mold has somewhat been curtailed recently by some of the bigs that have been coming in the league recently. Have just been ready straight out of the gate. But like Şengün, there's some of the issues that I've noticed, but because the rest of his defensive game is so solid, no one's really noticing it. Like sometimes he's quick to step out of the paint and challenge something, and he just gets blown by, or someone shoots over him. But apart from that, like his game is really rounded, and he's just got so much better. He's gone down the usual center trajectory when you get into the league, and just building year on year. And I think next season we could see the full form. It's quite exciting for that Rockets team, and I can't lie. They're slowly getting the pieces together. They're probably a year behind the Magic, and the Magic are already doing a lot better this year.
I disagree. I've said on podcasts that we've been all on that the Rockets have a nice core and the Magic have a nice core. They're a couple pieces away. I think they're still they're neck and neck, man. I think I like, and I'll go as far as to say the Rockets have the better coach.
Yeah,
the Rockets have the better coach. So it wouldn't surprise me if they get further than the Magic. You see what I'm saying? Like, I still think the Magic might be a piece away. But the Magic got a nice little core. And of course, Piggy Bank is that guy. But
yes.
Like the Rockets don't have a Piggy. Watch this. The Rockets don't have a Banchero. Yeah? They have a rounded starter in Şengün. Yeah? And they have a couple potential stars like Jalen Green and Jabari Smith and you know what I mean? And then they have solid man that know how to get it done, like the Fred VanVleets and what's not. And then they got the annoyances that make teams like the Dylan Brooks and them. So I think the Rockets is neck and neck, but the Rocket, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rockets get there first, led by your guy Şengün.
Big guy, the big one.
Have you disowned Murray now? Is Şengün your number one non-Celtic guy, mate?
I don't know. If Murray goes to is that deal actually on through yet?
Well, if resident GM John can give us the inside scoop,
I saw it on ESPN about an hour before we came on.
But if that happens, then he might as well be dead to me.
I'd say there's about a 75% chance it happens.
Yeah, there's about a 75% chance that Şengün becomes my number one guy then, Matt.
Well, yeah, it's potential.
They're still looking. They're still looking for the third team. Supposedly, the Hawks don't want.
Yeah.
They don't want D'Angelo, which makes a
No,
lot
they
more
don't.
sense next to Trae Young than
Did you see you
DeJounte.
gave 5 picks, by the way?
They gave 5 picks to get him. 5 first-round picks, 3 first-rounders, 2 pick swaps.
Wow.
To get who? DeJounte?
DeJounte, the Hawks gave up that to get him. 5 first-round picks.
I want y'all to know, right? That I hate the Spurs. And the Spurs are about to be stupid in 2 years. Like silly in 2 years. We got a couple of nice pieces there already. Trey Jones and that boy Sochan, that swear he's baby Rodman. You know what I mean? And that's all around Wembayama, who they cheated to get again, like Timmy D and David Robinson. I don't care. I don't business. The Spurs are about to be scared. The Spurs are like White Walkers from Game of Thrones. They never go away. Just go away. Go away.
Just keep coming back, man.
Like I can remember when they traded DeJounte, everybody said why as well. Because DeJounte was the only man that was like playing ball like he wanted to win. And Pop was like, no. We don't want to win right now because we want that Frenchman. So
we know what's coming.
You know what I mean? But
Murray, you're a nice player, but you gotta get the step in, bro.
I don't know. I don't.
Too nice.
Like D'Angelo has been playing for his meal ticket though. Last 6, 7, 8 games, man averaging almost 30. Like John,
the shot window.
John,
I don't like D'Angelo Russell. I don't like him. I just don't like him.
Why?
1, he's a snitch. 2, he plays the game at his own.
Snitching.
2, he plays the game at his own speed. As in, like as a point guard, you need to set the tone for the rest of the team. When you're lollygagging and going, it's hard. It's hard for a team to get the tempo going when your point guard is just taking his sweet ass time.
Doesn't Luka take his time? I'm being devil's advocate badly. Doesn't Luka take his time?
Luka takes his time, but Luka has enough points, skills, points, assists, and rebounds to back it up. Whereas D'Angelo Russell is wildly inconsistent, and that's put it nicely. He's had a good stretch. Don't get me wrong. He's definitely playing for his NBA future, and he wants to put himself in the shop window for a team to take a chance on him again and get another big contract.
You think it's that, and not that he wants to stay?
Nah, he knows his time was up there. He's aware. He's aware.
Man,
that's the reason why he was sitting on the bench when the Lakers. It wasn't last game, the game before. It was against the Bulls. Yeah, we beat the Bulls. And he's just kind of like everyone's like high five and all this stuff. He's just like,
yeah, it was just somber on the bench, wasn't he, man? Just somber. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Sorry, Matt. Yeah.
No. This is what we do, mate. We go off on tangents, don't we? This is what happens on the Shooters Lounge, boys.
True that.
Speaking of Luka, though, Luka had a big night the other night. Big scoring performance. The last 12 days, guys. There's been some unreal scoring performances. I don't know what's been going on, but 2 70-point games. There's been 60-point game from Kat. There's been 60 from Booker, 50 from Booker. What did you have a favorite one, guys? That's happened over the last few days. Embiid, obviously 70. Did anybody catch these games? What did you think? Or
I always enjoy big scoring games. I always enjoy big scoring games. Even if I didn't watch them, I always sort of look at the box score next time ooh.
Is that a typo? What's going on?
And I enjoyed all of them, apart from Embiid's, of course.
Goes without saying,
just looking at the stats and seeing that he's had 30 odd free throw attempts, and I'm like,
I knew Jordan would bring that up.
Is it? You have 33 free throws. Like that's not. I'm not counting that as a set. That's a
half the point.
that's a 37 plus point game. Like you're always going to get free throws when you get a big score. It's inevitable. Even like a 50 or a 60 piece, you're going to get like 12, 14 free throws in that way. But 30 odd attempts. I can't take that seriously. It's ridiculous. I've never seen a man with a whistle like it. Don't get me started about it again, Matt. Seriously.
Oh, mate. I mean, your thoughts on it being in free throws, mate, are well documented, mate.
Go, Jordan. Go.
I can't take it seriously. I don't know how you guys feel, but I just feel like it weakens getting 70. That's not, for me, that's not a true 70 piece. That's a 70 piece with a lot of help. I
mean, I know you'll never give any Philly player credit, bro. But and any of the others that you thought? What about Lucas 73? I mean,
by the way, Matt, it was 24 from 41 from the field, which for 70 points, that's not that great.
Are we on about free throw percentage? What about field goal percentage? I mean, come on, man. Guy scored 70 points, bro.
No, I'm loving this. I'm that. Go, Jordan. Go, I'm loving this.
There's been 470 points in the last 12 months, man. Like, come on, man. Like before that, there was one like once every millennium or something. Like, I think impress anybody then. Nobody was impressed.
The thing that impressed me with Lucas is the fact that it was 73, 10 and 7, but then he backed it up the very next day and put up 28, 17 and 10. Like that's the most insane thing. Normally you'll do that, and then the next night or a couple of days later you'll be like, Jesus Christ, I'm tired, and you'll put up like 20 points and a few assists, few balls or whatever. But he just hit an unbelievable triple double the next day, and it's just oh man, he's for me he already just give him the MVP now. I don't care.
Well, Lucas.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, give him that trophy now.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
nice.
big.
They all these guys had something in common. All these guys had something in common.
Oh, go on,
bro. Second. Oh, motherfucker.
What's that?
What is it?
Bugs Bunny, Michael Secret stuff. Space Jam.
Spray it on.
They're on some shit. Them guys were on some shit. If they're putting up them numbers, like by far, Lucas is most impressive. 73 points off of 33 shots, 25 of 33, 8 from 13 from the 3-point line, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal.
Man was playing 2K. That's 2K numbers. What?
If it's against Trae Young, does it count? That's the question.
Yes.
Because Trae Young was guarding him. He was guarded by. I watched the Luka game. I didn't watch the Embiid game.
He was trying to be guarded by everybody. And just couldn't do anything with him. Literally.
There you go.
Jalen Rose checked in for a quarter too.
Well, by the way, he had 43 points at the end of the first half.
Yeah, 43
in the first half.
And scored. I had what 60 piece? 60 is 61.
61, I think it was.
I'm sorry. To bring back my earlier point, it's much easier to get a 30 piece now than to get a 30 piece when we were watching Kobe do it. And Jordan just now brought up an excellent point. It's more impressive. I couldn't even pick which one was actually more impressive between Embiid and Luka, but I'm 3 sheets to the win now. It's easily the done, because if you could do that one night, the very next night drop another triple double, almost a 30-piece triple double too, you are that guy. People forget when Kobe dropped 81. The week before that, he had like 60 in 3 quarters and Phil Simon. And he was like, "What you doing?"
Yes, Maverick.
Yeah, you were like, "What you doing?" We're like, "What you doing?" Like, we need to win. Phil was like, "Come on, man, we're up 12. Like, relax. Relax.
Chill,
We up 12. We're good. And you know what I mean? You can relax. And he just, and in the Raptors game, in the Raptors game. The Raptors were actually leading the majority of that game. A lot of people don't remember that either. That 81 piece from
That's
Court.
why, that's why he played most of the game, wasn't it?
He played most of the game. And then
game,
there you go. And then some of these big numbers come in losses. I can't rate your big piece if you collected an L. Cat.
that was the one that was the funniest one for me. Cat, like he was that concerned about trying to equal Embiid's score that he forgot about winning the game.
Like
you lost to the Hornets.
Like you want a big score and you're losing. No, Kobe got a big score because he was determined. He wasn't going after like Wilt's record or nothing, you know. He wanted to win, and he was playing with Smush Parker. Them boys. He was like, "Look, you know what? Y'all can't get this ball." A lot of people forget that Kobe Bryant had 19 points at the end of the first half. 19.
Yeah.
So in comparison to Cats, I think Jordan said this just now as well. Cat had 43 at the end of the first half. Stop
Crazy.
it! No, I'm not. These big scores. No, don't jump up to me like you miss a game and say, "Oh, man, drop a 70 piece." What? I can remember waking up. I was a kid when Mike dropped that 63 in the Garden and lost to Larry Bird. And games used to play late. And I get the next morning and my dad was like, that boy that you like score a whole heap of points against Larry Bird, but he lose. You know what I mean? His worst bit. So I was like, what? I remember waiting for the sports news that evening because I wanted to see how Mike dropped this 63. And he dropped it because he wanted to win. So David Robinson of the Spurs that I hate, when he dropped his 70, he murdered I think it was against Alonzo, something correction, but it was against a good defender too. You know what I mean? So like you gotta come in the midst of scores, like Kobe's insane March. It was a March, John, where he had like 50, 43, 58, 40 this, 60 that. Like if you're doing that, I'm gonna be like, all right, okay, all right, I see you. But don't come and tell me you get a 70 piece. I love Jordan's rant just now. Don't come and tell me you get a 70 piece and score 30 from the line. You know what I mean? And then you shoot 50, you shoot 50% from the field and use a center. Shot you should got 60 something and 70 something from the field. You know what I mean? When he dropped his 60 piece. So stop it. Nah, not really.
Must apologize to Joel Embiid. He only actually had 28 field goal attempts. Sorry.
What a prick.
Oh no, man! I think 70's still 70, mate. You're still going to score 70, how you do it or not. I don't know. It's still impressive to me, but not impressing the rest of my panel this evening. But I still think 70, bro. That's a lot of points, man.
Have you ever heard the Cheryl Miller story? Have you ever heard the Cheryl Miller story? When 103 or 100 and some or 91
or something.
Crazy like that. Like when Reggie got in the car, I was hyped. Like, oh, how'd you do? Like, I scored 45. And they'd be like, yeah, how much did you score? 103. What? Like, brother. She's like, nah, I'm not. Whatever. LaMelo Ball scored 81 in high school too, or something crazy like that too. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Stop.
Wow, hard to impress, gents. Hard to impress. Well,
Top pro.
Must do better. Must do better, NBA is what we're saying. So
bring the D back. Bring the defense back.
Well, I'd agree with you on that, bro. That's for sure. Yeah.
Even Timothy Mozgov scored 93 points. So.
Oh dear. I mean, people are gushing about Booker. He scored 152 points in the last 3 games, but we've lost 2 out of 3. It doesn't matter. You've got to win, mate. You've got to win the games, bro.
Win.
Got to win.
And Booker's a Kobe boy. So Booker ain't, because Booker ain't making no noise, right? Scored all that points, ain't making no noise, right? Okay. Win.
Okay. Anything else you want to discuss, guys? Before we call it a show, is anything anybody wants to bring up, or do you want to leave it till the next show, or what we're saying? I can see you, Velocity. I see you there, bro. You got something you want to bring up, or you want to leave it till the next time?
We could do a teaser.
Oh, yeah, teaser.
Yeah. Team USA, guys. Y'all impressed with the pool. Y'all think it's a waste of time. Y'all waiting to see if they get beat by bringing the so-called best. And if there's the so-called best, who do you think should make it onto the roster? It might be a long topic, so you could, Mr. Moderator, you could shift it to next time. But
I think we might need a whole episode on that one, bro. I'll be honest.
So
yes, we'll definitely put that in a segment, bro, for the next show, man. Definitely,
right?
Because I know you want to discuss it, man. I know you've got thoughts on it, mate. So we'll definitely put that in at some point. But I think we better call it a pod, guys. But thanks very much.
What date is the next show?
What
schedule? Yeah,
whatever.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks, bro. 2 weeks.
So that's
February. So what you're talking, middle of Feb, maybe 12th, 11th, something like that.
It's got to be the Kobe episode as well. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. Yeah, we can do that, man. We can do that.
Going up next week.
No time. That's be good timing. Then that will actually want it. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll definitely get that in. But thanks very much, guys.
Sorry, Jordan. Sorry, Jordan.
What's that?
The Kobe statue is going up next week. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's all right, man. I only pay attention to real news. That's all.
Yeah.
Got him, bro. Nice, mate.
All right. It's all right.
We're still awake here. We are still.
Yeah, man. Usually, back in the day, we're just reaching the pinnacle now. We can go for like 3 hours or something.
Hey, we're halfway. We're just halfway.
Yeah, literally, mate. There's some 3.5 hour podcasts out there somewhere, man. That we
still can't believe that we actually managed to stick that out.
Yeah. And it wasn't pockets of air. Like we consistently discussed things one after the other.
Yeah. It's got a bit weird.
Till John's partner came and was like, "Hey, listen, come off, man."
Mother's gonna kill us, man. I'm gonna get off, mate. Stop
that. I'm talking, but mine is probably gonna come through the door just now. So let me leave Matt alone. Leave John alone.
Sounds well. Thanks very much, guys, for dropping in. A pleasure as always to have you on the show. You're welcome back anytime. Do you want to give yourselves a shout out before we go, George? Do you want to just tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on X or whatever it's called. NBA_infamous. Yeah, I mean, I don't post so much no more, but if you want to chat, have a few groups, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. GM John, let people know where they can find you, man.
You can find me on
Sky Sports, GM John.
You can find me on Twitter. I'm not calling it X. Sounds like a porn site. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JohnsonKNBA.
Nice. And resident content creator of the pod, Mr. Philosopher. You see us out there.
Philosopher 005 on Twitter, now called the porn site. And I'm also on Instagram, Jean_Maximus. A lot of you actually showed me out there and then they direct our conversations to the Philosopher site. So look out for Manon coming back on YouTube in short order.
Yes, mate. Look forward to that, bro. Look forward to that. Again, I'm your host, Matt at PostUp323. Go follow us, like us on the YouTube, guys, and follow us on the artist formerly known as Twitter and Instagram at Shooters Lounge 3. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. So thanks very much, and we'll see you again.